This is Texas Instruments LM355 in a TO92 package. If we look at it from the top down, with the flat facing away from us, we can identify the 3 pins or the 2 pins that we'll need. So the right hand side, this one's the negative, and then the one next to that, so the middle pin, is the positive, and then the far pin is the adjustment pin, and we won't be using that. So here we go, negative, positive, adjust. We'll start by separating the end of the cable, and then we'll slip on some heat shrink onto both parts of it. You have to do this now because obviously you can't do it later, don't forget. And then we'll just strip off a short section of the insulation. Obviously we need to keep this bit as short as possible. We don't want long bits of wire around. So we'll just quickly tin the ends of that. It just makes it easier to solder onto the pins of the device. So little tin on both the positive and negative wire. Then we line up the negative wire up to the negative pin of the device, solder it on, and then we do the same for the positive. At this point, these little helping hands, little crocodile clips, are quite handy just to hold everything in place. Stops you like burning the work surface. Then we'll just solder on that positive pin. Then just slip the heat shrink over there, making sure that both of those pins are nicely covered by the heat shrink. They're insulated, they're not going to touch each other. And then make sure it's as neat as it can be. You can pull that pin back in now if we haven't cut it off. Just a quick blast from the heat shrink is all it needs, just to shrink those onto the pins. And then one final bit that goes over all 3 pins, just holds it in, and it just insulates that floating pin that we didn't cut off. Stops that shorting out on the metal tube that we're about to put everything in. So we just slide the sensor now on its wires into the little tube, pop it in, and then it's ready to have some potting compound put in it. So what I tend to do is just put a little bit of masking tape over the top and stops it coming straight out the other end and flowing everywhere, and then just stick it down into a hole in a piece of wood. Just holds it quite conveniently. Then you get our potting compound. We've got the 2 bits, so that's the hardener, and then we have the resin itself. And what I like to do is mix it up in a small bag. I tend to have plenty of these hanging around because obviously it's going to be disposable, because as soon as it's gone off, it's obviously set solid. It's no good. So yeah, this potting compound comes in a syringe. Just squeeze equal amounts of the epoxy and then the hardener out into the bag. What's this? Need to make sure that you've got kind of enough to do the job without doing so much with your waste tool. And give it a good old mix together. You want it nicely mixed so that it goes off well. And then just squidge it all into one corner. Use this little bag, as I like to think of it. It's a bit like icing a cake if you've ever done that. Just snip the corner off. You want this so it's big enough that you can get some out, but like small enough so you can control it. And then literally you can use that just to squeeze the potting compound out of the bag and into this tube. And then just fill it up. I'm going to try and squidge it in there. And putting it in down both sides. Actually quite hard to get it down there because it doesn't flow that well. But just give the old cable a wiggle, a little gentle tap, and it will just work its way down there. Obviously you can go in from a couple of sides, different bits. And give the cable a little wiggle, just try and get it to drop down there as much as you can and pull it in and out a bit, just to try and get it so that it surrounds that device all the way from the top to the bottom and get it in as well as you can. And then just leave it to go off. Once it's gone off, you can take it back out. You see from the far end, obviously it's made it all the way down to the bottom. You can just see the device there. And then finally at this point, we'll just slip yet another piece of heat shrink over the top. Just obviously hides the end of that little bit of potting compound that's sticking out, and it gives the cable a little bit of support, so it's kind of a bit more connected to your tube. You don't really want it just flopping around. Again, give a quick blast of the heat shrink on the heat gun. And there we go. That's the sensor end all wrapped up. There we go, one finished temperature sensor. Then moving back onto the other end of the cable, obviously we need to be able to connect it up to our Cerbo. So again, you just split off the cable. You're going to strip off the insulation again, only enough to be able to slip on a ferrule. We don't want lots of cable ends kicking around. So yeah, you're just going to put a ferrule on these. Obviously make sure that the exposed cable, the wire, is the same length as the ferrule, and that just makes life easier. And then give it a good old twist, just trying to make it so it's not going to splay the cable out everywhere when you feed it on. Pop the ferrule on, which obviously is easier said than done because they're quite small, quite fiddly, and then just give it a crimp, and it's that simple. Make sure it's crimped on, it's not going to fall off. And then again, do the same with the other side. Slide the ferrule on, and crimp it. Yeah, there you go. So got the wires and cables, got 2 crimped ends. It just then plugs into the plug that goes into the GX. You just need to make sure this is plugged in the right way around. The easiest way to do that is actually to plug the plug into the Cerbo, and then it's labelled. So just plug it in the same way around as it's labelled and just push the wires straight in.